Hey all, good morning and welcome to ShareTreck. This is Raj here. Friends, as you can see, I'm trying to have more interaction. So I put the chat window out there. If it turns out to be distracting, please let me know and I'll take that out. Having said that, I just want to celebrate a little bit of success. If you guys remember, I was talking about Precision, right? So instead of 27th of August, surprisingly, they got FDA approval last night, somewhere around 7 o'clock, and our subscriber David Best was the first one to send me a message right away saying that it's got approved. There was no action early morning in the trades, but right now it's already up 63%. So I'm looking forward to sell it at the peak and get out, because that's the only product the company has got, and our objective is to make money at the end of the day. So I'm really happy about that. I want to share my happiness with you guys. And if any of you had taken the risk of probably buying that, maybe you're celebrating right now. And on the other hand, if it didn't come out well and if FDA had rejected it, then the value would have collapsed. So it's a good thing. And in the past, David had talked about Altimmune. I bought Altimmune. I made money on half of it, and I still am holding the other half at a great loss. So it's a mixed bag. It's a risk that we take based on our analysis. But today I'm happy for Altimmune. That said, I want to give you a quick roundup of what I think is happening in the market. I've been scanning the news and everything. So in terms of overall market overview, I think the US stock futures are tending a little bit mixed. As you can see, S&P 500 futures is, yeah, thanks hot dog, thank you. S&P 500 futures is slightly positive, and Nasdaq futures is slightly negative. So it's a mixed bag, and we are looking forward to some really important data that will tie in with the CPI and PPI, and that is the consumer data. Now, this is the third consecutive day when we are in a kind of Goldilocks situation. Global stocks have mostly gained, led by rebounds in Japan and China, but bond yields and dollar kind of edged up yesterday as traders reassess the Fed rate cut bets following surprise inflation data. And I want to see what the continuity is going to be today. Right now, dollar index is down mildly, but all the yields are up a little bit. And I think US producer price index for July, which jumped 3.3% year over year, really did a number on the market, but the market was too strong, so it didn't register as much. I think I would have expected that with such a high PPI, there would have been a more drastic reaction, given that we were at really high levels, elevated levels, but it's not as bad as I expected. And I think when it comes to the rate cut, I suppose that the Fed is right now in a very difficult situation, and I don't think they are going to be in a hurry to cut the rates despite President Trump pushing for it. And today's economic data is going to be very important. Tariff uncertainty continues to hang over manufacturers, especially with US-China tensions still unresolved. And there's going to be an impact on oil prices based on what happens between Trump and Putin, which I think the meeting is going to happen today. And in the meantime, what I hear is, China is going to formally investigate NVDA. Yeah, it's a payback for what they did for Huawei and the 5G, right? So it's a geopolitics thing going on. That's very important because that's what is weighing down on NVIDIA prices. So thanks, Hot Dog, for pointing that out. China's retail sales grew 3.7% year over year in July, down from 4.8 in June, and fixed asset investment slowed down, highlighting global economic drag from tariffs and weak momentum. So China's weakness and the heat in the US, if there was free trade happening, I think that it could have balanced each other out and we would have been in a much better position. With the tariff wall in between, water is not able to find its own level, something to that effect. Now, Intel surged late Thursday on rumors that US government may take a stake in the chip maker. Now, this is the second time the US government has intervened in corporate. In concrete terms, like with US Steel, they got a golden share. Now they are trying to get into Intel. So I'm trying to remember what capitalism was, what socialism was, what communism was. And I don't know what ism is taking place in the US because Trump is doing everything. He is also selecting who is going to be the winners in for the Kennedy Center Awards. And he's going to be, I believe, master of ceremony for the Kennedy Center Awards. So he's into everything, like it's a one man doing everything. That's okay for other areas, but when it comes to economy and corporate performance, especially in the high-tech sector, I'm a little bit worried. United Health jumped after Berkshire Hathaway disclosed 5 million share purchase. It was a mystery share that they had. And Amazon added nearly 3%. That was the other gainer on a new expansion of same-day grocery delivery to 1,000 cities. That means more revenue, more margins. So a lot of positives for Amazon. I do have Amazon shares and Google shares still with me, a little bit of them. I bought it in the second tranche and they are still positive right now. And fewer Americans applied for unemployment health benefits last week, supporting a still solid labor market despite concerns about consumer spending and inflation. And the strong job market may slow down the pace of rate cuts as the Fed weighs higher inflation against employment strength. The classic conflict between, are we going to pay attention to employment and make sure employment is at optimum levels and unemployment is low, or are we going to focus on inflation? That problem of the dual mandate is staring the Fed in the face, and they are still trying to make a decision. And if they decide in favor of employment, then they would have to reduce the interest rates. If they decide in favor of inflation, they may hold the interest rates steady, which means September rate cut is off the books, which means the stock market will start coming down again. Now, what we need to watch today is the US retail sales data, because it will give us potential insight into tariff impacts and consumer health. So the first item that we are looking at is the retail sales month over month, which directly tracks consumer demand, and it heavily influences corporate earnings and market sentiment. So if it comes in hotter than expected, then it signals strong consumer spending and could ease recession worries, but also reignite inflation fears, pushing bond yields up and cooling rate cut bets. And stock may initially rally, but could face selling off if investors fear persistent inflation. And then the other data element we look today from among all the things that come in is the New York Empire State Manufacturing Index at around 8:30 a.m. And it's going to talk about key regional factory activity, and this is relevant to industrials. If it comes in hotter than expected, seen as economic strength, it may boost industrial stocks, but add to rate hike concerns, and rate cut prospects will diminish further. The Fed will become more hawkish. And then, of course, we have to look at the third data element, which is industrial production and capacity utilization, that comes in around 9:15 a.m. The other indicators came in at around 8:30. Will come in at around 8:30. Right now it is 7:53, so we still have time for that to happen. But later on at 9:15 a.m. we get industrial production and capacity utilization, which shows manufacturing and economic output momentum. If it comes in stronger than expected, it's positive for growth stock and may also pressure the Fed to stay cautious on cuts. The bottom line is that hot readings today, especially retail sales, suggest resilient demand amid tariffs, which can support stocks short term but raise concerns about stubborn inflation and dampened Fed rate cut hopes, potentially leading to eventual market volatility tending downwards. And the big item today, which is going to be all over the press, is the outcome of the meeting between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin, which could affect energy and trade headlines. And in the past, Putin has been able to hold a sway over Trump. If you recollect the infamous meeting in Europe, where he came out from a meeting where no one was allowed except him and Putin, and he came out and said that he believed Putin more than the FBI, etc., etc. So if Putin manages something similar, then we may have a readout where he comes out and says that he thinks that Ukraine has to give up some lands and it has to sign a peace deal and things like that. So one never knows what's going to come out of it, because Trump has also warned that if there is no understanding in today's meeting, then Russia will burn or something to that effect. So let us see what happens. And today is going to be a very momentous day from that perspective. So expect a whole lot of volatility. And I'm thinking that I'll sell Precision as soon as possible and stay on the sidelines. Even if I'm going to miss maybe another 20-30% of gains, that's the state of mind I'm in. With that said, I'm going to go in and have a look at our stocks, and let me go into the 1-day time frame and change all these into a single window and recalibrate the charts. We need to do this on an ongoing basis on the TradingView platform, because if I don't do that, charts are out of whack. Okay, so here we are. We have this diagonal line of resistance, which shows how far up S&P 500 futures can go, and they are inching upwards. We should not mistake that. Even though there is a bearish sentiment, it is gradually improving. The market is being forced to respond to this positive attitude, but it wants to remain bearish. So we have seen bearish sentiment drag all the way from 31st July till now. It's not deepened and it's not turned bullish either. It's kind of going sideways. So it's taking a lot for the market to be convinced, and I can believe that because I myself am among the bearish people out here, thinking that what does it take to tank this market, because it's a dog's breakfast out there and the market is still going crazy. And from the point of view of the market, it did give up some gains. It cleared the bearish divergence and now it is back into bearish divergence, I would say, and it's building up. The bearish divergence is building up. There is a consolidation happening out here, creeping upwards. Our resistance for today is going to be 6,599, and the support is going to be somewhere around 6,478. Nasdaq also, it's the same story. We got a minor line of support which is going to support today for the Nasdaq futures somewhere around 23,857. Right now we are at 23,915, and again sentiment is bearish and momentum is pretty good but flat. Let's see what happens when the day goes out into the market open. I don't want to look at the bonds and other things. There is nothing much I can say out here, because as the bond yields keep on going down, it means that the market is going to be hotter, and as the bond yields keep on going up, that means money is going to come out of the bond market, because these yields will become more attractive and more risk-free. So that's the dynamic. Right now, I think even the yields are trying to figure out which way to go. So we wait for the 8:30 a.m. data. And if we go into the indicators and look at where S&P 500 exactly stopped, I would say that for us, the support today is going to be 6,442, and the resistance for today is going to be 6,520. And again, RSI is almost close to overbought. MACD is bullish, but sentiment is bearish. Nasdaq, same story. We'll have support for NASDAQ at around 23,575, resistance somewhere around 24,144. VIX is still in the negative, and I don't know what it's going to take for volatility to spike up. Maybe today's economic data, but right now it's very peaceful. Gold is up 0.24. I have gold and it's a little bit on the red. I'm still holding on because I think ultimately gold is going to be a place of refuge. QQQ shows a minor positive in the market open. It's going to be QQQ says it's up 0.03% in pre-market trades. It has got very good support at 575.73, and I think it will face resistance somewhere around 585. Now, if you look at put-call ratio, it's almost neutral. And let's go on to look at AI. NVDA is flat in pre-market trades, and there's a little bit of impact on NVIDIA from what we heard Hot Dog say as well. China is formally going to investigate NVIDIA to see what's happening on its chips. On part of NVIDIA, I think there is a public knowledge that there are some tracking elements in the chips to make sure that they are not being diverted to China. And that's going to happen for chips other than the ones that are permitted to go into China. The H20 chips are not state of the art at this point of time. That's another thing that the Chinese government is saying. H20 is not state of the art. And also there could be some malicious contents in the H20. So China is warning its companies not to buy H20. And all of that is reflecting in NVIDIA shares. So we have seen them going down. Yesterday they opened below and they came up. And this morning we are struggling to go on an open above yesterday's open. So yesterday's close. So if we open above yesterday's close, I would say that there is a little bit of bullishness in it. But in any case, we have the first resistance at 183.77. And I'm not sure whether we're going to meet our target of 196.12. So we have to see what happens with regard to that. Meta is up 0.58% in pre-market trades, and it will face some resistance somewhere around 795.66. So that's my expectations. And Google is up 0.35% in pre-market trades. RSI is overbought, but it still has room because in the past we have gone at least all the way up to 75 or 76 on the RSI scale. Sentiment is also bullish, and MACD is also bullish, but it's trending towards the signal line. Overall, I have a target here for Google at somewhere around 221. I have a little bit of Google on my CDR side, and I'm still holding on to it. I also have a bit of Amazon. Amazon is up 0.46%. It's crossed this diagonal line of resistance and converted it into a line of support, which is going to be a support for us today at around 227.09. It's a dynamic line of support. And we also had another line of resistance up here, which now becomes support, and it's going to be a support at 230.88. Right now we are at 232.04. And if you recollect, friends, we had a target from the past of around 258.40. And to reach there, we have a resistance which we had to cross at 242.15. So that's what I'm seeing out here. Next, I would like to look at Apple. And Apple is up 0.17% in pre-market trades. Apple has settled with investors for $490 million, for about $490 million over claims of misleading iPhone sales statements in China, addressing legal risks and market pressures from trade tensions and local competition. So that's the dynamic going on out there. And because the settlement has already been made, I think there's a little bit of positiveness out there. We are up 0.17 in the pre-market trades, but China still has not got a trade deal with the US, and a lot of things are happening in the geopolitical sphere between China, India, and Russia and Brazil. So we'll have to watch out what happens with Trump's meeting with Putin, and then that will dictate how things pan out, and that could have a little bit of impact on Apple pricing. So I'm not touching Apple right now. Microsoft is up 0.20% in pre-market trades. It is consolidating, and this is a bear flag in my opinion. It's consolidating. It has done a good portion of the gap fill with this wick that came down out here, but I think there is still a little bit of gap fill to be done. Maybe that might happen today. We still have a support somewhere around $514. for today. Sentiment is bearish, MACD is bearish, and momentum is also a little bit weak, even though it's above average. Tesla is gaining by 0.44% in pre-market trading. Guggenheim has maintained a sell rating on Tesla with a $175 price target. Right now we're at 335. Friends, as you know, I've already shorted Tesla. I'm holding on to my shorts. I'm on TSLQ and I'm waiting for Tesla to come down. But today it has got a support with the dynamic line of support at around 336.32. Right now it's at 336.92. I'm looking forward to convert this diagonal line of support into a diagonal line of resistance. And friends, I've lost a few subscribers over being negative on Tesla, but that's where I'm thinking that we have to be open about stocks. And if the fundamentals are dictating something and the charts are dictating something, we have to follow those things rather than our feelings. In this sense, I have improved on one aspect, that is looking at the fundamentals. That I think is my core strength. But a place where I have weakness is I'm not able to let go of the fundamentals and take advantage of the technicals in terms of doing day trades and swing trades. That's where I've got a lot of improvement to be done, and that's the source of my problems, where I've got stuck with the shorts. So I put more convictions on fundamentals and less on technicals. I have to revert that, and I have to bring some balance between fundamentals and technicals, which means I should be more on day trade at this time. This could be a day trader's paradise if you keep the fundamentals in mind and keep on getting out quickly and taking small gains. And I'm going to attempt that starting today. So if I find something that is going to be a day trade, I'll try to do a small video intraday and just release it out there to let you know what I am doing. That doesn't mean it's a financial advice. It's just that I'm sharing my thoughts with you, and you guys can do what you want with it. But don't blame me if you lose money, because I'm likely to lose money, because that's really something that I'm going to push my comfort levels and my learnings and learn something new. I'm willing to pay the price. I don't know if you are. So just watch me and see if I get better, and then you can decide what you want to do. But if you have any advice when I release these videos, put it in the comment section. I'll definitely consider it, and maybe it will save me from some loss. That said, let's come to Oracle, which is up 0.52%. Oracle has also been silently creating a bull flag out here. So this is the flagpole, and this is the flag that I'm looking at, and we'll see what happens with this. We have a target out here of around 276.87. I'm still hopeful that Oracle will touch that out. And AMD is down 0.06, same China factor at play. And today we have a resistance at 182.06, and we have a support, which is this dynamic line of support, which is going to operate at around $173. SMCI is down 0.18%. Again, as I was mentioning, it's the bear flag in action. We have a price target of 33.53. Have I been confident enough to buy SMCZ? No, not yet. But I might venture to do that today. That's shorting for SMCI. AVGO is down 0.13%. It is still consolidating. Could this be a trend reversal? I don't know yet, because sentiment is still bullish, MACD is still bullish, momentum is still elevated. So I would suffice to say today 303.60 is going to be a support, and we are going to have a resistance at 316. And if you look at Palantir, it's down 0.06%. It has to do a gap fill out here. It has exceeded our earlier target of 175.61. So am I going to short Palantir? No, I don't have the conviction yet. Do I think Palantir is a good buy? I don't think so. It's got very high PE multiples, exponentially high forward PE multiples. It's a bubble waiting to burst, in my opinion. But this is where I have the conflict between fundamentals and technicals. The technical charts are really strong. MACD is bullish, and we have very bullish market sentiment. And RSI is above average, still plenty of room on the RSI to go up. So it could turn around, it could start going up. And again, if you look at defense sector, even if there is a downturn, defense expenses will continue. And I think the days of using huge aircrafts and huge assets are coming down, assets like tanks and all. So we're going to have drones, and we're going to have AI, and we're going to have robotics in there. and different types of drones may come in, the flying drones and the drones that could crawl the ground or walk the ground, things like that. And Palantir might find a place in there, not only in battle strategy as well, but also in terms of geopolitics and other aspects. So I think Palantir definitely is a hot stock, but with my risk profile, I dare not touch it right now. If I had bought it much earlier, I would have been holding on to it. But right now, I'm afraid, and I'd like to hear from you guys what you think. Put that in the comment section. SMH is down 1.03. Its fate is tied to AMD and NVDA. Tempus AI is finding resurgence, and it has gone up significantly. I don't know, Hot Dog, if you still have Tempus AI. Hot Dog is saying, present your truth, Raj. Yeah, that's what I thought to do. I want a community of retail investors so that I can exchange ideas. I agree on Palantir, don't like it, but won't short it. Yeah, that's right. That's the conclusion I came to. And then let us look at what else do we have. Rigetti. I regret having sold Rigetti at 16.01. I panicked. I was waiting for the earnings and I panicked. I should have held on to it, then I would have come out without any loss. With Rigetti, I have a regret out there. I'm not touching it until it comes to the base. And again, at that point of time, I'll evaluate whether it's my risk appetite, whether it's something that I want to put my money in, or go for something which is a sure thing. Let's look at TSLQ. It's down 0.66% in pre-market trades. This one has really tortured me very bad. I'm a sci-fi I'm a buff, and I used to watch Stargate. There was this episode of Stargate where Apophis catches hold of Captain O'Neill, and he keeps on torturing him, bringing him to near death, and then puts him into the sarcophagus and wakens him up again, and then again tortures him for some information. TSLQ seems to be doing that to me. It's killing me, reviving me, killing me, reviving me. God knows what is going to happen, but I'm steadfast on TSLQ because I think Tesla fundamentals are not good, and it's a cult behavior that's happening out there. I may be right, I may be wrong, but right now I have the conviction. Next, I would like to look at FNGD, which is another thing which is doing the same thing to me. I have shorted it, and it's gone from $18, which is my average purchase price, to 5.80. Right now, my strategy is that it's going to turn around, and when it does, I'm going to buy a bulk, dollar cost average down from 18 to somewhere around 9 or something, and then try to sell on a dollar cost basis. That's my strategy. Maybe a pipe dream, I don't know, but I'm caught really bad with the shorts. So that's what is happening out there, my friends. And let's go on to genomics. This is where I'm going to first go to Precision. Precision is up 62%. My average price was 1.92. I bought 1,000 shares, so it's up to 2.98. I want to see what happens when the market opens, and then probably dispose it off. I would hope that it goes somewhere all the way up. Right now, I'll tell you where it is. It's at 2.95, and I think I would like to see it go somewhere to around $3, and I'll probably sell it out at $3. I think it has got the ability to go there when the market opens, because many people who have not tracked Precision, they're going to look at this huge jump and try to jump into the bandwagon, and that's when you unload and come out. So big shout out to David Best. Thanks for showing this to me, and I'm happy to rake in the profits today. And if you are around, David Best, if you're watching, please mention what price you're going to try to get out at, or if you already got out of the stock. I would be happy to hear. So Prime is up 0.82%. Again, I have Prime. I'm waiting for it to go closer to this diagonal line of resistance and break through this flag and move upwards. That's the probability. And also we have met our earlier target of 4.88. So I'm thinking same way we are going to meet the new targets, and let's hope. Oh, sorry, it's not the target. I think we'll have to move this up here and put it out here. So that gives me a new target for a Prime, which is going to be somewhere around 7.9. So that's what I'm waiting for, and I'm going to hold on and hope that it goes closer out there, because it has to do that. The probability is much higher for a bull flag to break out on the upside rather than the downside. Intelia is up 0.92% and it still has got some kind of a resistance at 11.30. So I'm going to mark this red right now, and it has got a support, I would say somewhere around 10.71. Caribou has got no trades pre-market. Beam is up 1.25 in pre-market trades. Altimmune is up 0.27. Again, this is another stock in which I'm suffering. I'm holding on to it. Let us see what happens with that. Editas is up 1.69% in pre-market trades. Resistance is going to be somewhere around 3.20. Illumina is up 0.75, making a kind of recovery. And I want to see if this can convert into a bull flag, or if it will go ahead to try and fill this gap down completely and try to attack our resistance at 103.36. CRISPR Therapeutics is up 2.02%. We had a resistance which was a variable line of resistance. Today it's at 60.09. Right now CRISPR is at 60.01. So there is a chance that we may open above this. And in case we open above this, then I would be quite optimistic to see if we can confirm above this and make this a confirmed support. And then using this support, we can start to build a base and then create a bull flag and so on and so forth. Right now, market sentiment is bearish for CRISPR Therapeutics. MACD is bearish, but it's trending towards the signal line. Momentum is above average. So I'm thinking that a recovery is in the works. Will I buy the stock right now? No, because it's expensive for me from my portfolio size and my risk appetite. Allogene is down 0.93%. It's creating a bear flag out here, and it could go down further. All indicators are weak for Allogene. Grail is up 0.68% in pre-market trades, and it has got a support at 31.95. And if you look at PACB is up 1.63% in pre-market trades, and it still has support at 1.21 and a resistance at around 1.32. ARCG is up 0.84%. It still has a support today at around 24.66. Vertex is trying to improve. It's up 39%, and it's at 391.82. For us, the resistance is at 475.77. So there's a long way for Vertex to go. It's in a bull flag, so I'm feeling optimistic that we are going to break out from this. That's what happens. The probability of breakout on the upside for a bull flag is higher than the downside. So I'm going to wait and watch. If it breaks out here, then I would like to buy if it confirms above this diagonal line of resistance, because then I could plot a target and try to sell closer to the target. So that's what I'm thinking for Vertex. Ginkgo Bioworks, again, I have some on this, waiting for the bull flag to break out on the upside. The new target may not be where it was, but if it did break out here tomorrow, then my target will be 19.13. Right now I'm in a loss-making position with Ginkgo Bioworks, but I'm hopeful that just like it did in the past, there'll be 2 or 3 flags, and at least it will 2 or 3 green candles, and it will come at least near this diagonal line of resistance. And again, the probability for breaking out on the upside of a bull flag is higher than breaking out on the downside. So that's the story out there. Let us take one final look at Precision. Yeah, it's dropping its gains. It's down to 0.56% gain. Okay, I'll wait for the market open and then sell Precision. So friends, that's what I have out here for you guys. And let us look at Eli Lilly. Yes, it's moving smartly upwards. I think it is time for me to buy Eli Lilly on the Canadian side. And I'll just pull this out here. And you can see that we now will have support at around 646.03. So that said, friends, I would like to look at our chat section and then decide to wind up the session today. So Hot Dog, Aaron, if you got anything that you want to talk to me about, any ideas, please share that here for the community, or else I'm ready to shut down the session, go have my breakfast, get ready to take some profits on Precision, and hopefully that will fill up the gap with what I lost on Rigetti. Okay, friends, thanks and have a great day. Bye for now.